afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, March 12, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tonight, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. It's a surprise. Ecstasy is our very nature. Not to be ecstatic is simply unnecessary. To be ecstatic is natural, spontaneous. It needs no effort to be ecstatic. It needs great effort to be miserable. That's why you look so tired, because misery is really hard work. To maintain it is really difficult because you are doing something against nature also. So we choose to be what we are. We choose to be. You've probably met people that for some reason, they choose to be miserable. And no matter what you say or do, they're going to be miserable. And so what does that do? That attracts others who are miserable. And it does take a lot of work and effort because it isn't our natural state of being. And to focus on being miserable all the time really can take a toll on your organic body. People don't realize it, but, it really drains you. You're miserable all the time, and you aren't happy, and you're irritable, and, you got something with yourself going on. You get drained more, and you feel worse. It never ends. It's just constant. And most people don't understand or comprehend the fact that all they got to do is change the direction. But if you said that to them, they would get irritable and defensive because, remember, they're protecting their egos. And no, that's just not right, and they aren't going to do that, and you don't know what you're talking about, that type of thing. But a lot of the times we just don't recognize how much effort we put into being unhappy. And do we do it on purpose? No, we don't do it on purpose. It's kind of like a knee-jerk reaction. You do it because you're used to doing it. A lot of the times we are tired and drained because we work so hard to be miserable. And I know that sounds strange, but when you step out of it and you look at everything, that's what you see. And that takes a lot of effort. Now, people say, well, what about being happy? Does that take a lot of effort? You just decide to be happy. That's it. But to be miserable, you have to work on it a lot. You really do. You got to put a lot of effort into it almost every day. And there's always something that you are not happy with. You ever notice that? When you go into miserable mode, there's always something that you are not happy about. And that's being miserable. And it's different degrees, of course. You have light misery, you've got medium, and you've got heavy-duty misery. And we apply that to ourselves mostly on a daily basis. We do not think or believe that we're that powerful to shift that whole frequency. So we stay in it. And I'm sure you've met people that are just that way. That there are then the effort is to cover it up. Some people will cover it up by being, on the outside, right? They're real bubbly and energetic and all this stuff, but underneath, they're miserable. And it doesn't matter when it seems to be all the time. It's like you're in a conversation and you say to somebody, well, I feel great. And they go, I don't feel that great. You feel yourself kind of drop, don't you? You feel yourself kind of just go, boom. Everything in this world changes. The flux of matter is what makes life so exciting, spontaneous, and dynamic here. Your body is not the same body that you atomically had 1 year ago, and 10,000 years from now, you may not recognize or understand half of what you see. And as long as the ego is in charge and thinks it's running the show, it will be holding you tightly to the lie of safety by sticking like super glue to its comfort zone. Now, there's nothing wrong with being comfortable, right? We all strive to be comfortable. In fact, it can become a precursor to a deep spiritual, mystical life experience. Yet the ego will often coax us to stay in an old rut or pattern just to keep its distance from the fear of the unknown. It believes that it's better to stay with what it has known for years, even if it feels like you are shriveling up. This could be a relationship, a job, a salary, overweight body, lack of vacation, or just a convenient, repetitive daily routine. The ego would rather be comfortable in a velvet rut for 70-plus years than take a risk to step into true aliveness. And that, it's interesting how when we begin to unravel this kind of mystery on why we do the things we do. Why do we do the things we do? You ever ask yourself, why did I do that? Doesn't make any sense I did that. And then a lot of us will be heavy or hard on ourselves, which it's taboo. Don't ever do that. Don't ever get hard on yourself. Now, one area where many of us may have a hideout in this velvet rut is the arena of living abundantly. Due to past emotional programming, we may not be comfortable with actually experiencing what it is like to be truly abundant and financially free. You may unconsciously be choosing to propagate a scarcity mentality just because this is what feels the safest to your ego. Isn't that interesting? Ego feels comfortable with scarcity. It may be terrifying to accept massive abundance, since that would mean you would have to stop playing small. Just imagine what would happen. You decided to expand your financial frequency and stop playing it safe. To stretch out your comfortable money zone may seem undesirable, yet it is a powerful way of redefining who you are in the world you are living in. Now, it's obvious that I believe that many of us know this, is that when we continue sending out the same old vibration by remaining in the same old zone, we tend to reap the same old levels of success and abundance. When we venture out beyond our comfort zone, we discover that there are many exciting opportunities and experiences that we were previously unaware of. This is what the vast unknown that makes up this universe truly contains. There is much more of what we do not know in outer space and inner space than what we do know. Sure, the ego is terrified of these infinite probabilities, yet you can only access a truly alive and abundant life by doing the thing you are most scared to do. Now, see, right there, many of us choose to do the thing, to not do the thing we're most scared to do. We won't do it. Okay? Why are we so frightened of that? Because it's an unknown, and because the ego mind is front and center, thinks it's running the show. Then you'll start going, what if this, what if that, and now then I'm not going to do that. No, not going to do it. Too many things. So the ego is terrified of these infinite probabilities. True growth only really happens when we consciously choose to take that big risk, to move beyond our comfort zone. Some of you are familiar with yoga. Just like in yoga, while the stretching may feel uncomfortable at first, there is a pleasure that comes from extending your limbs, breathing and relaxing into a new position. This is the point where a new consciousness can be found. The more often that you do yoga, the more limber your whole being, mind, and body becomes, and the easier it is for you to move into new realms of thinking. If you do the same thing with abundance in your life, you will naturally attract a greater level of abundance than you could have dreamed possible. You may discover more about your hidden abundance comfort zones by answering following questions to yourself. How comfortable would you feel if someone gifted you a very large sum of money? How easy is it for you to ask someone to support you in creating abundance by using one of your business ideas? How easy is that for you? How would you feel if you were to all of a sudden receive an abundance of attention, love, support, and admiration? How quickly do you embrace new opportunities that could lead to more abundance in your life? These are self-probing questions. But, I've seen situations where, you give somebody something, right? And it's almost like they fight you tooth and nail that, they just I can't accept that. I can't accept that. No, here, you take this. They are so adamant about it that it's like you're in an argument with them for them to accept your gift. I don't know if you've ever experienced that. But you can see where we will almost inadvertently fight these questions. It's like, how would you feel if someone gifted you a very large sum of money? Would you accept it or would you fight it? And oftentimes, this is a really good I guess you could call it exercise. During the course of your day, take some time to examine where you feel trapped, stuck, and imprisoned in your life. Right? What are those all too familiar, comfortable ways of being, doing, talking, thinking, and feeling that you tend to repeat every day? Where do you feel that you are most holding yourself back? And write down your top 3 life situations where you feel the most trapped. Now we create. Now they're not real illusions. We create kind of like inner prisons for ourselves. And as we've developed these prisons through this life, you find that the easiest way of breaking out of that prison, which is comfort zone, is little teeny steps. You don't have to move to the edge of a 1,000-meter cliff to step out of your comfort zone. You can slowly stretch out of any old habit, just like you were attempting a new yoga posture. Next to each of your top 3 situations, write down what your personal baby step would be to move out of that old pattern. Make the effort to take the baby step every day this week. Every day you will be absolutely amazed at how much more of life you'll experience, manifest, and enjoy when you do whatever it takes to stretch into the beyond. You've heard me mention that, but most people won't do this, okay? Because it's an unknown and the ego fears it. And you say, well, this is all new to me. You know, I was over here and I became very proficient or whatever, mastered this. So I thought I would try out this, see how I can master it. Now, see, that's coming out of the comfort zone. But, so you'd master whatever it was. But most of us will stay there. We won't step out of that comfort zone. All I know is this over here. I don't know anything about this. Now, some of us will say, you know what, that's really interesting. That'd be really fun. I'm gonna go from here to there and do this over here. You don't see very often a carpenter, right? Or a plumber or electrician or anybody in those vocations that will master that field and then go over and master another field. Maybe a tin knocker, you know, or it could be anything. Automobile mechanic, whatever. Because we spend so long of a period of time, we master it because we start to know it inside out. We can do it in our sleep. And a lot of us are comfortable with that. That's a comfort zone. He's like, hey, Harry, you ever thought about doing this? No, I'm good here. This might be fun over here. You know, some of your skills you could bridge over to that over there. No, I'm fine here. Been doing this for 30 years. It's all I know. See, that's it right there. It's all I know. Heaven forbid if you were to step over into an area that you didn't really know much about at all. What happens there? Well, the ego mind clicks in and, you're worried about how other people would think of you, and, you don't know anything, you're a rookie, but you were used to being a master over here. It gets a little clogged. Now, you might want to try, take about an hour sometime to write down a very extensive, long list of everything you know you need to do that will stretch you this year. What would really challenge you to step out of your box and create the experience of absolute freedom in your life? In your first assignment, you did just one small step beyond your cozy little nest. So what's it going to take for you to take the giant leap into the total unknown? Perhaps, it's as simple as eating a salad for breakfast. Totally different than what you do. Going on a road trip across the country alone. Couch surfing, asking someone you don't like for help. Giving someone you just met a hug. Going to a party alone where you may not know anyone. Or saying yes to a huge new opportunity that comes your way. This universe contains infinite possibilities already. Believe it or not, whatever you can imagine happening to you is truly what life has in store for you. Whatever you do, have tons of fun and laughter this week, breaking out of your comfort zone and exploring the juicy world inside you and around you. I mean, how many of us are truly alive? Truly. Again, it's about observing and watching, right? Not judging. And you look and you go, wow, most people are pinned into their comfort zone. They're not going to move out of that comfort zone. And it's funny, have you ever done this where you say, you know what? The heck with it. I'm going to do that. Right? And for years and years, you've been in this comfort zone and you've not stepped outside of it. And all of a sudden you say to yourself, I'm going to do that. I want to do that. I want to see what it's like. That's what life's about. I mean, when we stay in our comfort zone, sometimes we will create things that will come in to pull us, totally turn our world upside down. Totally. Completely. Which gets us out of our comfort zone. And, I remember a time I was in a townhouse, and it's really interesting because if you look at your toilet, there's a line, right? Just a water line. And that's where the water comes into the toilet. It usually comes up from the floor and hooks in. Now, usually those water lines are flexible. They've got fibers in them and plastic, and usually it's very rare that anything happens to them. But one morning, early morning, this was a strange townhouse because you would walk through your closet in the main bedroom, and the bathroom was there. So you could go through your clothes closet to the bathroom. And then, of course, it had a hallway that you could access the bathroom. So I put my feet down like you would when you get out of bed, right, onto the carpet, the floor. And it was a puddle of water. Now imagine, you put your feet down, you're going to hit the carpet, but you never know, and you're dreaming a million years that you put your foot down, and it's just water, soaked. So all of a sudden, you're going, what the heck? So you go, all right, you go through the closet, and the carpet in the closet's just totally soaked, and you go into the bathroom, you turn the light on, and it's like a fountain of water spraying constantly up in the air, soaking everything. Now, I don't know how long it had been compromised, but this was 3 floors. So you had your upstairs, and then of course you had your basement. So it's 3. So you go the top floor, and then you go down to the main floor, and there was water coming down through the light fixtures in the ceiling, all over my laptop computer and everything. And then, and not only that, when you went down the basement, because the basement was kind of finished, and the water was gushing down on the ceiling of the basement, soaking everything. That's where I learned that never store anything in cardboard boxes. Always store them in plastic containers, because so many things were destroyed. Now you imagine, this was like raining. It was raining in the basement. It was raining in the living room. Just this flood of water. So I couldn't figure out why that happened. And of course, later I replaced it with a steel mesh version of that same line. See, so that be a lot more resilient and a lot stronger. So I went and I looked at where the leak was, and it looked like little teeny teeth had chewed away just enough to have that line rupture. You could see the teeth marks in the plastic, where something's been gnawing at something, and it was really strange. And then not only that, my car had some lines had been chewed, same kind of teeth marks, because I took the old water line and I compared it, and it looked the same. Now, I never saw any critters, but obviously it was something that caused that. Now, normally you get bent out of shape. People just freak at that. I just looked at it and I just kind of let it go. All the carpet was soaked, and of course you have to take these industrial air dryers. They had the company come out and pull the carpet up and start blowing underneath the carpet from the top floor all the way down into the basement. So you had these blowers going constantly. Couldn't hear yourself think or talk. But I didn't get freaked out about it. I just said, well, it happens, and it'll be cleared up. And it was cleared up. And I was, in the middle of it, I was saying mantras and sitting in this wooden chair because I had to move all the furniture out because everything was just completely soaked. And because of that situation, you have to be careful because mold can appear within days. And you don't care to have that. So you could picture all these industrial blow dryers blowing under all this carpet and everything everywhere. And then you're going through your stuff and looking at how much of it was totally destroyed just by water. So did that pull me out of any form of comfort zone? Absolutely. It totally moved me completely out of any sedentary position. Because it totally disrupts everything. For a while. And it actually felt good. Now that might sound strange to some people, but see, in our comfort zones, we will create things that will pull us out of these comfort zones. And we feel good about it afterwards. See, we get it's an adventure, and it can be really pulling and jerking. But you know what happens? You could say to yourself, man, this is boring, this life, same stuff, same thing, same stuff, same thing. And then you create, without you knowing about it, something that you pull into your life that will turn it upside down. Right? And I'll tell you what, it sure does get you out of your comfort zone. Comfort zones are okay, but they're dangerous because, we go through this life, and we do form comfort zones, and then we will not leave those comfort zones, so we don't experience much. You know what I mean? We don't experience much. We get less and less and less. And it's funny, there have been tests done repeatedly on people who age, right? Their bodies get older and older. It's funny because the older you get, the more risks you should take. Isn't that interesting? But we become sedentary, and we get so entrenched in our comfort zone that we end up doing less and less and less and less, instead of more and more and more and more. And it is a fact that the more the risks that we take, the more risks we take, the longer we live. It's a proven fact. Those who don't take risks expire sooner. It's funny, in our society, the whatever you want to call those that 70 to 100 take less and less and less and less. There are exceptions, of course, but less and less and less and less. Oh, how many times have you heard this one, where someone will say they're too old for that? They go, oh, I'm too old for that. No, I did that years. I don't do that now. So we shut ourselves off based upon what we believe and what we've been programmed to believe in this life. Well, when you get a certain age, you shouldn't be jumping over that fence. You could hurt yourself. See? What do you want to run in a marathon for? You're 80 years old. What are you, nuts? That's that kind of stuff. See? Or instead of, hey, great, that's great you're doing that. More power to you. But on one hand, we do get bored with life at times, but then we don't realize why we do get bored with life. One of the main reasons is because we're so stuck in our comfort zone, we don't realize it. It's like doing something like I suggested. It's something simple. You get up in the morning, you go, I'm going to have a salad for breakfast. Really? Which is very much out of your comfort zone. Or I'm going to eat at 6 instead of 4, which is way out of your comfort zone. So these little things, they kind of spice things up, and they make things more interesting. And when we go to areas that are unknown to us, that's where the excitement really is. Why do we have an area called the unknown? Why is that? Why do we have things where we go, you're looking at a door and you say, behind that door I have no idea what's behind that door. Total unknown. Now, there could be a bunch of us sitting there staring at that door, and the door label says, the unknown. How many of us would open that door and go through it? Truthfully, how many do you believe would open that door and go through it, knowing that it's all the unknown? You have no idea what can occur when you go into that door. You open that door and you go inside. It's mind-bending. But it's all the opportunities, all the possibilities, everything that we could imagine is in the unknown. Always has been. And it's funny because when we get into these comfort zones for life, we will not go into the unknown. You do it. I have no interest in going there. And that's where all the fun is. That's where all the excitement is. It's like, have you ever done this? You've got your eye on something, you're going to get it, whatever, and you check it out, and you research, and you do all this stuff. As far as even talking to people that have whatever it is that you are getting. So you get it. And come to find out, there's all kinds of discrepancies that you not in a million years were ever told. That's the unknown. It's always an unknown. It doesn't matter. It just depends on your perception of this existence, on what you're going to get. And most of the time, we have no clue on what we're going to get. We really don't. We'd like to. We would like to have like a manual that we could flip to page 24 and boom, there we go. But we don't have a manual. And you ever done this where you thought really that you wanted something, right? Whatever it may have been. And then you get it and you go, oh, this isn't what I wanted. Nothing that I want. I thought this is what I wanted. And then when you get it, it's like, nah, this isn't it at all. You ever done that? Or something that you think you wanted to do or try that you do, and you go, that was something I shouldn't have done. But these are all the unknowns. We have them every single minute of our existence in these bodies. It's the unknown. And see, we would like to have a guarantee reference on, hook, line, sinker, so that before we made a step, that we would already know quite a bit of what we're stepping into. It's like you ask somebody, why are you doing this? I don't know. Seems fun. Would you have any idea, of any of the ramifications? No, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to have fun with it. And they have fun with it. You ever wanted to do something in your life, even as a kid, and all through your life, you'd always reflect on, boy, I'd really like to do that. Boy, I'd really like to do that. And then the ego might come in and say, well, no, you can't because of this at this time. Poor timing, you can't do it. And you ever use this, when I'm ready, I will do it. Right? When you're ready. What does that mean? When you're ready. When you're ready, you will do it. And you ever notice that you're never usually ready to do it? And then as twilight comes in these bodies, we reflect back and say, darn it, I wish I would have done it. I'm not talking about a bucket list. I'm just talking about, I wish I would have done that. So it's kind of like this. When something comes in that tickles your fancy, even for a brief moment, do it. Don't try it. Do it. Just do it. Don't even think about it. Just do it. It's not life-threatening, and it's not this, it's not that, but it's an unknown. But it does come in. We all have had this more than once. It comes in, and for a moment, a brief moment, we're very excited, enthusiastic about maybe, I'm going to, I'm not going to do it. But do it. Seriously. You'll feel 10 times better because of the fact we don't know. None of us know how long we have in these bodies. So when stuff like that comes in, do it. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. Just like in these meditations. Enjoy these meditations. You choose to do these meditations on a daily basis. You find a comfortable place. You have no outside distractions. You relax into your body. You're as still as you can be, as still as a statue. You focus on your breath rising and falling, and that's it. A 3-year-old could do that. And that moves you into the now, and it moves you out of the ego mind. It's huge for us as a civilization to practice this. Huge. So it's kind of like, okay, you shift. You decide to shift. And the more that you do something that takes you, and you know what? Meditation takes you out of your comfort zone. Yeah, and in meditation, you just say, well, I do this. Why do you do it? Why do you meditate? Because I enjoy it. It's peaceful. I move myself into peace, quiet, no distractions, no mind chatter, no ego mind, no thoughts, nothing. I'm in the now. And by practicing this, like I have said numerous times before, it brings us into what? The God that we are, the pure consciousness. It gives us the momentum to focus on mastering our ego minds and our thoughts through that meditation, because it moves us out of it. You want to master the mind? Leave it alone. You want to master the ego? Leave it alone. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. Enlightenment comes from consciously being in touch with the core of your experience. This core is where we evolve our consciousness. For today, search for the central core of your experience. This means that you drop out of your head and into your body, feeling what is truly happening inside it. Bring your attention into the center of your body throughout the day. Welcome whatever shows up in there. Feel your heart and belly deeply, more so than ever before. Let this begin the path inwards, where you discover the core of self-realization. Explore what it's like to truly live and breathe each breath, being in touch with the center of your being. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. We'll return here tonight, Wednesday, March 12, 2025, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our time for change call. And Thursday, March 13, 2025, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.